Just when my neighbors didn't think I could get any more annoying, Kawasaki Mule! What's up, Buck? Today, we're getting the Kawasaki Mule running. This is going to be part 2 on the D.O.A. Mule. We're going to remove this carb that I have confirmed is all gunked up and junked up. We're going to do a rebuild on the carb. We're going to slam it back in this thing and hopefully do the first start in a while. In the last video, we confirmed spark. We confirmed that we're getting fuel, that we have good fuel, and off camera, I did a little compression test. 110, 110. Good as gold. Excuse the whole flashlight setup. It's that idiot time of year where the sun takes off early every day. So I have to work in the dark when I get home from work. I got a rebuild kit, like I said, off Amazon. It was like 14 bucks. Here's what I think is happening. I took the plugs out to do the compression test, and they were soaking wet with fuel and a bit of oil. They were dirty. So I cleaned them up. I was like, cool, maybe I can hear this thing bark off. I sprayed some ether in each cylinder, and I cranked it, and nothing happened. And I was like, well, that's not a good sign. I'd already done the compression test. Hold up. Oh, give me this. Almost forgot me grip mat. I'd already done the compression test, so I knew there was good compression, so I was like, what gives? I slammed the plugs out again, Jimmy Jim them bad boys out, and I'll be dipped if after like 10 seconds tops of cranking they weren't soaked again. So I think the needle's probably stuck or something. It's just every time you crank it, it's just straight up dumping gas into there. I'm surprised we didn't hydrolock it the other day, to be honest. To get this carb off, it's just these 4 bolts to the air box here, and then there's 4 bolts that go all the way through the air box, all the way through the carb, and into this intake manifold. Gonna have to disconnect these lines up here. You got your return line, you got your supply line, and then this is just a pass-through coolant, but the little nipple that they're both connected to is plastic. So you break that, you're gonna have a bad day. So before I even try to tackle that super inaccessible last one, let's slurp these guys down. Jimmy jam that off nice and careful like. You are gonna get some coolant, no big deal. Some coolant a-spraying, nothing we can't handle. Again, this is plastic. You break that, you're gonna have a bad day. Yep, there's some coolant, all right. Now, in doing my research, I heard a lot of people saying that they used the rebuild kit jets, pilot and main, and then it didn't run right. And then they went and they put their own jets back in and it ran fine. So we're gonna try our hardest to reuse the OEM jets. Oh, there we go. That was a little tricky. Try to save the seal if you can. What I was saying was I've been able to take this whole thing apart with a 10 mil, and there was one 12 mil on the starter. So that's been cool. Now that that's off, there are 4 bolts to get this big bad boy off. And then we're home free. Oh, linkage. There's linkage over here that must be contended with. Disconnect like that, and you're good. And if my calculations are correct, which they rarely are, that should be everything that we need to get out of the way to remove the carburetor, the carburetor. There's a breather tube right here, little compression fitting. That looks like it's a PCV, probably. That's definitely what it is. So you got a PCV line running right there that needs to come off. Come on. There we go. Now this is your, I don't know what you call this, but I'm gonna set that aside. That's definitely gonna get cleaned. And now this should just pop right off too. It should. Yep, you got some locating pins there. One more piece of linkage here. Free at last. I said free at last. There we go. Okay, let's get this grody thing inside and start cleaning her up. Alright, here is what we are left with. On the outside, it's certainly grody, but it's not quite as gross inside as I was thinking she might be. Regardless, we're going to have to get her cleaned up so that we can get this thing running. There's a little kit I got off Amazon. Has everything, jets, screws, bells, whistles, anything you could want. So we're going to start off by cleaning the outside of this thing, getting some of the major dirt and grime off. And I want to get this bowl off because I'm pretty sure that's where our issue is. I think it's going to be all varnishy and gross in there. And then we'll scrape gaskets, you know, the whole thing that you do when you do a thing. Alright, all that is good enough for government work. I'll probably clean it up, the gasket, some more before we put her on, but it's going to get us to where we need to be. Now let's get into the meat and potatoes of the thing, the real crux of the issue. Where in the fork did I put? There it is, screwdriver. Moment of truth. Okay. It's not as bad as it could have been. I know that light's a little wonky, but there's definitely some varnish. It was time for a rebuild in there. Let's see how bad this... Yeah, this gasket's not terrible, but yeah, there's some chunkiness. Okay, let's see how our seat was. Needle looks fine. I don't know how well you can see that. Needle actually looks real fine. Everything else is pretty well gummed up, methinks. If I'm not mistaken, yeah, pilot jets are on this side on the carburetor body, and main jets are in the bowl there. So we're going to do the usual. Let's clean up this float bowl first. I might fill it with brake clean and let it sit overnight. That would be a good thing to do, considering how chunky it is. Yeah, there's some schmoo in there for sure, which I'm sure is circulating through the rest of everything, making things awful. I'm really bad at making carburetor videos because I get very concentrated when I'm doing one of these, and then I don't want to commentate anymore. It happens every time I do a dirt bike video. It doesn't matter. Oh, I just got brake clean in my eye. Whoo, buddy. That will wake you up. Now's as good a time as any for an update. I can't find my carburetor screwdriver, so I can't get these jets out. It's a stupid problem to have. So I'm just cleaning this thing up as much as I can. We're definitely not getting her finished tonight. No big deal. Because for you, it'll be an instantaneous... Goodness. I think maybe brake clean in the eyes got me gone silly. Instantaneous mix over. Alright friends, I walked away from this thing about a week ago and haven't been back. And honestly, I'm tired of the mule sitting there not running. So let's get this carb rebuilt, cleaned up, and put on there. I confirmed a few things off camera over the week, including firing some ether down her throat and getting her to pop off that way. So we know there's compression. We know she's going to fire. It was just this carburetor that was all gummed up. I went and got new carburetor screwdrivers. I couldn't find mine anywhere. Alright, as previously mentioned, we're going to try to reuse all of our original jets, because I heard not so great things about the ones in the rebuild kit. I mostly just wanted the rebuild kit for the old gaskets there. We're going to take a piece of our brass wire brush and stick it through there, make sure we're not clogged up. Oh yeah, that's a nice happy jet right there. Fire some of the sauce in there. Perfect. Again, we have no reason to believe that the jets were actually clogged up. The problem is we were getting too much fuel. It was probably the needle in the seat there. But we're going to do our due diligence and clean them out anyway. Alrighty, at this point, there's some more cleaning up to do on this thing, but I'm going to do it off camera because I don't need 30 minutes of carburetor footage. So, yeah, if you have any specific questions on this carburetor, you can hit me up in the squawk boxes down there, but I'm not going to put it all on camera because I just don't see how that is anything anybody's going to want to see. I'm going to finish this up, and then we'll jimmy jam this bad boy back on and see if we can't get the old donkey to bark. Oh, buddy buck, I almost forgot. I got to scrape gaskets before I can put this bad boy on. We are close though. Carburetor's all put together. Somebody forgot to cover this when it rained the other night. I don't want to go naming any names, but it was me. So that's awesome. Thankfully, I did have this covered enough so that there's no water getting in there, but there is water everywhere else. Had a grip mat full of water. Whatever. Amateur hour, I tell you. So we're just gonna shove some things down this intake so we don't end up with a gasket in there. Here's what we did over the week off camera. I disconnected the fuel pump after first not disconnecting it and sending fuel shooting across the driveway. We fired some ether down here and she barked right to life. So everything is good and happy inside the cylinders. Compression we tested, it's 110 on each side. There's really nothing else to say about it. I do think we are going to get her started right here, and furthermore, I'm starting to think our original issue, well, obviously one of our original issues was that the carburetor was all gunked up, obviously, but the original no crank issue, I'm wondering if it wasn't a neutral safety switch issue. Because I was doing some research and these do have those, so at a later date, once it's running, I may try to figure out why I can't start it with the key. But let's be honest, I know me, and the fact that I have that live wire over there means it's probably not going to get. But it probably was just a neutral safety switch issue. These are a little finicky in these. So it was probably on its way out, which is what caused it to not want to start. That's all there is to it. Okay, good enough for government work. Let's get to her. Locating pins are locating. This guy, which is soaking wet, so I'm gonna take it inside and clean it up, and then we'll, oh yeah, we're gonna clean this guy up and we'll slam her on there. Alrighty, Buck, she's clean where she needs to be, just on the inside there. Scrape a little bit of gasket off, and then we should be good to go. A couple of these bolts on the inside of this air cover took Loctite, and I just discovered that my red Loctite up and walked away, so we're gonna use blue today and hope for the best. So let's see, carburetor's on. This guy goes over there. We can put those guys in there for now. Deal with them later. Linkage is linked. You can slam these bolts through her. Now these didn't need Loctite, but there's two little ones in here. I'll bring you guys in. Those needed Loctite because if they fell out, they're going directly into the motor, into the motor unit. And then it's going to eat itself, and then all this work is going to be for nothing. And I'm going to be real annoyed. I just want to ride this donkey. That'll do. Now this little diffuser guy, it does get some of the Loctite, and all I got is this teeny tiny bottle of apparently unopened blue. It's gonna have to do. That'll do her. Okay. It's gotta go on there. That's gotta go on there. Come on. That was too much. Hey, buddy Buck, I'll tell you what, here's where we're at with it. Before I connect the rest of the air stuff, let's see if we can get her to bark. So let's put all this stuff together. What? Where does this go? This weird rubber piece is, whatever. Okay. Get our coolant lines on. I said get our coolant lines on. Come on. It's fighting me. Ignition on. And contact. Well, there you have it. Not teabag if I do say so myself. I'm actually surprised it fired off that quickly and easily. I thought we were gonna have to jimmy jam with some mixtures or something. Okay, cool. Well, here's what I'm gonna do. Thankfully, it came with some Kawasaki coolant, some Kawasaki Gatorade here. Let me see. I imagine we're gonna have to top off the fluids there. I'll check the oil again, get some wind, in this tire, and then we'll take her into town. We'll take the wife for a fancy dinner in our brand new, slightly weight reduced donkey. This thing's just purring like a kitten. Look at that. That was almost too easy. Oh, I need to check the airbox too. All right, assuming nothing interesting happens while I'm putting air in tires and checking things, the next time you see me, I'll be driving a mule. I know, pretty damn cool. Well, buddy Buck, I'll tell you what, we got her running. Here's an interesting issue. It will not run with the airbox connected. I checked in here. The filter wasn't that bad, so I'm guessing there's a nest or something somewhere in here. I'm gonna have to investigate that another day. As soon as you connect it, it kills it right off, but that's no big deal. You can see she's chooching pretty good. She's got a bit of a smoking problem, but there's all kinds of mean, nasty, ugly things probably down in them cylinders from sitting all those years, so we're gonna hopefully just let that burn off and we'll be all right. I have no idea if these warning lights work. I was told that at one point she got a wee bit hot. In fact, she was on fire, but apparently everything still works up here. We got a wallflower situation, one headlight, no big deal. We got a winch in the garage actually. We've got a whole pile of spare winches. We might throw one of them in there. I tested it, transmission does work. I just want to let it warm up before we take her down the road. Because again, I don't know if those idiot lights work. I don't know if she's gonna get hot. I don't want to be anywhere but right here if it's going to have another issue. So I'm going to let her run on a little bit. We got some fresh dyno juice in her, some that good oil. I'd actually way overfilled it in the first video. So I drained her out again. That's fine. No big deal. So if anybody knows where I can maybe find a new bed for this thing, I mean, this one's not totally gone, but she's pretty far gone. I don't care about anything else, but I'd really love to have a mint bed situation. Until then, I'm definitely just going to cut a sheet of plywood, slam that bad boy in there, and get something done. This thing's primarily job. Amateur hour. Pull yourself together. I'm a little tired today. You know what? Hold on. This is clearly an issue of lack of caffeination. The cold coffee that's been in the garage since you started the project hits the spot. Also, there's an awesome dog on the mug, so that's fun. Back to what I was saying, the main job for this thing is going to be crawling around up in them woods, pulling firewood out. Smoking's actually getting worse. I don't know. It's running fine though. I imagine it's got to burn off some crud and some crap and some junk, some goop, some stuff. I don't know. We're 10 minutes in, let's see what happens. Alrighty friends, well the front tire at least took enough wind to do a little test drive. I'd say the smoking is clearing up a bit. I found out at least one of the idiot lights works. It is for the e-brake, so that's good. This one looks like it's an oil light, so that's good. Tell me if I don't got no oil in it. So we take the e-brake off. High range is a little, it yells at me, it barks. See? So we'll figure that one out later, but low range takes it real well. And yeah. The easy part is going down the hill, right? Steering wheel wants to do something funky, but that's okay. Just when my neighbors didn't think I could get any more annoying, Kawasaki Mule! Hi, Willie! Now we test the four-wheel drive. Don't die on me, little buddy. No. It's a little touchy, that's okay. Why? Why? Maybe we'll get lucky and she'll light off again quickly. Okay, she's just a little temperamental, that's all. You've got to bring the idle up some. Try bringing the idle up some. Maybe we will monkey around with the mixture after all. Sounds a bit happier. Four-wheel drive. Check, I think. Alrighty, well, it handled that, no questions asked. I even did it with the e-brake on because I am a complete monkey with a toolbox. So conceivably it would have been a heck of a lot easier. Man, life is hard and harder if you're stupid, but this thing climbed up no problem. Let's see about getting up into the woods there, see how she does. Alright, now this path was never even cut for quads, it was cut for dirt bikes, so conceivably I'm gonna have to do some rearranging, some jimmy jamming. But let's just see how far up the little donkey will go. Well, now I got this thing stuck in the woods. Oh well. So that's how far it will get up. I'm gonna probably go zip this tree down, move that log, and get it out of the woods before it becomes a permanent fixture. But yeah, we'll change up the trails a bit, and we'll do some work up there. Damn, that was fun. For a minute when it was biting. I don't know if the diff lock works or not. I'm gonna have to go and look at the footage. I put it on once I was already stuck. I know both front wheels weren't spinning, but you guys tell me, were both back wheels spinning? I don't know. That's good, man. I have not been stuck up in those woods in many years. Not since I sold my my last dirt bike. Ooh, buddy Buck, I'll tell you what, we got her out. Had to call in for some help, but we did get her out. I don't know if you heard when I turned the video on, but the cooling fan works. It kicks on every once in a while. We had to tinker with the mixture and idle. I think idle might still be a touch low. Apparently it would seem this fuel gauge is leaking. That's new. It's all right though. I mean, we gave her the business. She was all bound up in here for a good hour. Oh well. That's really all there is to it, man. We set out to get a running mule. That's what we have. Certainly needs some work. I'll do all the filters, figure out why it won't run through that air box. I imagine there's some measy mice maybe up in here or something. If you got any questions, by all means, leave me a comment down there in the squawk boxes. If you got any advice, if you're a mule technician, you want to let me know how to treat this donkey right, please let me know. Other than that, I'm kind of hot and tired now. I want some water. I want to move on to the next project. I gotta go work on the Ford today. So I'm gonna leave you all here. As always, thanks for watching. See you next time. Also, all the things like video, subscribe to the channel, you know, appreciate it. Next time.